Nation, what is going on? It is your man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform, Wealth Our Way, where our motto is, wealth is not only for the wealthy. I welcome each and every one of you to episode 58. We are doing a part 2 of the ABCs of property and casualty insurance with our special guest, Josh Short. Josh will be here in a few minutes. I had some technical difficulties and took me a minute to get this invite over to him, so I'm expecting him at any moment. I want to thank each and every one of you who are live with me as I broadcast across the Wealth Our Way Facebook and YouTube pages. I also want to give that special salute to each and every member of Wild Nation that watches this program pre-recorded overnight, over the weekends, wherever they can squeeze 15 minutes of financial literacy in, and a heartfelt, what's going good? How's everybody doing? To the Life 101 members who listen to the audio of this here program. We're going to bring Josh into there goes my man, Josh.
What's going on?
What's going on, brother? I apologize for my technical difficulties. I warn my audience all the time, don't let the gray beard not let you know that I am old and that me and technology are not armed co-defendants. We don't work well together at all. So got it working. We're here. We're going to do this part 2. Let's lead in. Everybody knows who you are, but reintroduce yourself and let's just jump into some things, property and casualty.
Okay, Joshua Short. My primary office is in King of Prussia, PA. I handle Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland for all things insurance.
My guy. And the other thing is, a lot of people know from the Wealth Our Way platform that we have a national footprint. I like to say an international. I'm a global player. We reach all around the world. But one of the reasons that I work closely with Josh is if he can't do it, he has someone in his network that can get things done. I've had him help me with clients of mine in Georgia, in California, Illinois. Like if I call Josh up, and this is the thing you got to love. And as I'm teaching everyone within the sound of my voice, not just financial knowledge, but business knowledge. And I've used the term before that your net worth is tied to your network, or as the saying goes, your network is your net worth. And having someone in my arsenal like Josh that I can call when someone has a property and casualty issue, and it goes beyond just needing to sell property and casualty insurance. He's a resource. He's an information hub. So when I have somebody who has a question about P&C coverage, I can reach out to Josh and know that he's well-versed across the nation. So using my personal situation as an example, which I like to always do, I just went through, I don't know if it was a hurricane or a tropical storm. I'm not sure what they're calling this girl, but Ida came through, got everybody wet. Like, it was a party for Ida. She just did her thing and left a lot of damage in her wake. And the reality is that things that I thought would be covered were not covered. Things that I thought wouldn't be covered are covered. So I called the flood insurance. First, I called Josh. Let's be 100% real. When things went bad, even though I didn't know Josh when these coverages were put in place, I still called him and said, "Hey, here's what's going on." And he didn't say to me, "Tank, call your agent instead of talking to me." He did tell me call my agent and get some information that only my agent could give me, but he gave me the knowledge I needed and then directed me to get deeper dive with my agent. So I was always operating under the impression that flood damage is not covered by your homeowner's coverage because they say once, and not only flood, rainwater. So the way it's been described to me, and Josh can elaborate on this, if you get heavy rains, once rain hits the ground, if that water does any damage to your home, it's considered flood. It's not considered rain damage or storm damage because once it's on the ground, that damage is flood damage. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, so, and I'll add one more thing.
Yes.
So any kind of water, if you have a basement that's always wet, so basically the water is coming up from under the ground, from the ground up. That's also considered rainwater, or water from the ground.
And that's where I got jammed up because I didn't realize that my flood coverage only covered the building. It didn't cover any of my personal property. I also didn't realize that my homeowner's insurance which does cover the contents of my home, won't cover the contents of my home in the case of a flood. So I had a huge catch-22. I have a $10,000 deductible on my flood insurance, so I had to replace the hot water heater for $3,000. The furnace guy is coming here in a couple of hours to look at the furnace. It could be $7 or $8 grand. That's going to be $11,000 out of pocket, of which $10,000 is my responsibility. So I'm not getting anything. But I talked to my neighbor, I talked to you, and did realize that because I had a sump pump in my basement, that the flood overpowered my sump pump. I have a residual rider, and I want you to tell the people, I talk to people about life insurance riders. I want you to talk to them about property and casualty riders.
Okay.
I had a sump pump rider that says if I have any damage because the sump pump failed, I get $5,000 of coverage, less $1,000 deductible. So I am going to get a check from my homeowner's coverage for $4 grand. So basically, I'm out about $15,000, maybe $20,000 worth of stuff. Washer, and I have 2 washers in my basement. 2 washers, dryer, shot, furnace shot, hot water heater shot, a lot of personal property damage. Maybe it's going to be about between 15 and 20 grand. I'm going to get collectively from my 2 insurance companies about $5,000. This hit me for 15 grand out of pocket. I'm not built like that. I know I'm here talking to y'all about this money, but I don't have an extra 15 grand on me just to be throwing at problems. This is cutting into my Coinbase account. This is hurting my assets right now. I'm a little sad, but the smile is still here. All big babies in the building. I love it. So, Brother Josh, talk about riders on property and casualty properties. Talk about what people need to know for their home, for their apartments, for their investment or rental properties, how these different coverages can help protect them financially.
Okay, riders. I'll hit also that we talked about.
Yep.
Water backup and or sump pump coverage basically says that if your toilet, your sink, your bathtub, your shower stall overflows with water, whether it's in the basement or on the 3rd floor, you need coverage for that. $5,000 is probably going to be enough to, in every room except for the basement, it's going to be enough to mitigate the damage. So that's where you're thinking about $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. When it comes to a basement that's finished, then you're looking at replacing the drywall, drying up the area, and then the cost for repairs. So you're looking at, for the finished basement, not a minimum of $10,000 to $15,000. Bigger home, larger square footage in your basement that's finished, and you got some pretty funky stuff down there, flat screens and all, a pool table, then you're going to need at least $25,000. So it's better to have it and not use it than to not have it and really need it.
That's my North Philly gun rule. Anybody who knows me knows I went to Temple University. I'm a Philly native. And I always say my North Philly gun rule is it's better to have my gun and not need it than to need my gun and not have it. Insurance is a lot of the same thing right there. And my daughter just joined the program, and I know she has a house in Philly, and, it's near Cobbs Creek, and Cobbs Creek can overflow. I've learned I'm scared of water now. Like, I'm still gonna take showers, but water has shown me its power this week.
Right. Is that Bria?
Bria's there. Yep. And
okay.
You help Bria out with her coverage.
Absolutely.
So the reality is Bria has a living area that's subterranean. So, and it's a nice living area. So when you're talking about finished basements, what type of coverage specifically in her homeowner should she be looking at, and other people who have basement living spaces? Is there an additional level of coverage that they can ascertain to make sure they're properly covered?
Well, the first thing is, if you buy a house and your basement is not finished, and you have the home insurance policy, get connected with your agent so that they can update the policy. And have that conversation about water backup and sump pump coverage. Because if you don't have it and you need it, that's a problem. So in a basement, water backup is mainly what you need. Now the question of the dollar amounts, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, and so on. I don't recommend having the minimum of $5,000. You can always bump it up can bump it down, and it's really negligible, maybe less than $100 for $5,000 worth of coverage for a year.
Okay.
So it's what goes with that coverage is the drying up their basement, the removal of the damaged drywall, carpeting, and even the repair replacement of everything.
Okay.
$5,000 is just going to cover pretty much drying up the basement. So the more coverage you have just on that particular rider, the better.
Got it.
So Bree, give me a buzz or send me a text, and we got to talk about that.
Got to walk through that policy. Yeah, we definitely got to take a look, make sure my big baby is covered.
Yeah.
One of the other things I wanted when we got off the air yesterday, I started thinking about what my audience talks to me about and where they have issues. So we were talking about Turo as a business for clients. Turo is where it's like I say, it's the automotive Airbnb. It's the ability to rent out cars that you own like you're a rental car company. And I know you add some liability. Now, Turo as a company offers insurance for anyone who puts their cars on their platform.
Okay.
But it got me to thinking about people with multiple cars like myself, having multiple drivers. I had an accident while I wasn't even here. I was in Miami at my play sister's 50th birthday party. And while I was there, my mom got into an accident with my truck. I got 3 different insurance companies now in the mix. My insurance company, because it's my truck. My mom's insurance company, because she was driving. The other driver's insurance company, because she illegally cut in front of my mom and caused the accident.
Okay.
Talk to me about subrogation. Talk to me about how to protect yourself. Talk to me about the do's and don'ts. And man, we always keep running out of time. We still got 3.5 minutes left. But talk to me about, we're moving to, because of Elon Musk.
Nope, you stopped. You're frozen.
But the people, here we go. How are we going to handle, how's the insurance industry going to handle subrogation when multiple cars are involved, when cars that are driving electronically are involved? What type of things should people be on the lookout for with their automotive coverage?
I'll hit it real quick because I know we're limited on time. What I tell my clients, if you're driving, if I'm driving and somebody causes an accident or me, they're at fault. I'm going through their insurance company. Technically, you're supposed to contact your insurance company in case anything happens. You pay your deductible in case anything happens, and the other company is not moving fast enough.
Right.
Subrogation will kick in. Will say, I pay my deductible to get my car repaired. Subrogation, that my insurance company will go after the other person's insurance company for that deductible. Now, it may take several months, but they just let the insurance company handle that subrogation part.
Got it. So if you have an injury, and people can be injured for years, go and get their chiropractor visits and all of that. Does that it keeps the claim open, but does that differentiate from the repair of my car? Like my car can be repaired in the short period that it needs to be repaired, but the claims stay open for the physical damage?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So in the case with your mom, and you and I are the parties.
Yep.
So you cause the accident. Your mom, I own the car that your mom is driving. And then she runs any medical injuries through her own policy. That keeps the claim open for however long it needs to be open. It could be several years until that claim is closed, because the medical injuries can last quite a while.
Got it. Josh, tell the people how they can get a hold of you. And Renee, please put it in the chat. So anybody has any P&C issues, needs, wants, questions, or concerns, they can reach my man, Josh Short.
Okay. So primary contact, my cell phone, 610-425-8080. Email address, first and last name, joshua.short@goosehead.com. I'm on Facebook, Josh Short Facebook, but I also have a Goosehead page for Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, Goosehead, J.E. Short. Then also Twitter, same thing.
Hey, in the Twitter box. I love
exactly.
it. Is that right?
And then 2 other links I got.
Go ahead,
So
shoot them off.
you can get in touch with me. I can send you a link where you can actually go online and run a quote yourself. Once it's done, I get a message, look at what's going on, and we connect with each other, and we go from there.
That's what's up. Give me the email address one more time.
Joshua.short, SHORT at goosehead.com.
I love it. So I want to sign off. We, of course, ran a little bit over today, but that's okay because we're getting some great information. I want you guys all to know I spelled Goosehead right, because I'm a math mind, but I was able to spell correctly today. I want to thank you, Josh, for the part 1 and part 2 yesterday and today. I'm going to do a follow-up with you in the fourth quarter. We're going to get you in here, maybe even bring you onto a webinar so that people can learn more great information. We went over, but it was well worth it. I want to thank you guys all for attending. I want you to remember here at Wealth Our Way, our motto is wealth is not only for the wealthy. Thank you all and have the great day. And we'll see you here tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern. Take care.
Take care, everybody.